request for a video. I've done similar before, but I just thought I'd do it again because people do ask me still, and I'm absolutely fine with that. I've had a request for a supply tutorial sort of thing. You know, what materials do I use? What should I be using? That kind of stuff. Well, I'll show you what I use. Let's kick off with the black book. So first of all, just to show you what I don't use a standard black book anymore. I use this stuff now. Smooth heavyweight by Daler-Rowney, A4 size, 220 GM. It's really beautiful. I think I've got a commission piece. Yeah, so this is a commission piece I've just done recently. I won't say anything more about that. Very enjoyable commission piece it was too. But this paper it's got a very smooth tooth on it, but it's nice and fat as well. It's nice and it's thick enough not to be difficult to work, but at the same time it's thick enough to withstand a lot of this, because this is the thing that ruins your paper, rubbing out. And some people don't really rub out very much. You can see my pencil lines there. I'll just rub them out. I rub the rest of them out. Just they're just marker lines, those, as in to mark my my boundary. I've got them around the bottom as well, just marking out the boundary of that piece. So the paper needs to be thick enough to withstand some decent erasing. So that's the paper I use if I'm using pat. And the reason I use this, by the way, and I recommend you do the same, is because you can cut pages out your black book, but it can get messy cutting pages out of the black book. And these obviously just tear off, because often if you do a commission piece or whatever, you want to, or a name exchange or something like that, people want you to send them the piece. Often, some people don't actually. I do get clients who are not interested in having a hard copy because, you know, it's 2024 and they don't care about that, and what they really want is just a nice picture of it, and that's fine as well. But if they do want it, you want to be able to tear it off very easily. So this one, they do a couple. They do a dark brown pad as well, and that is not as smooth. That's a coarse, and it's equally as good. And if you need more of a tooth on your paper, depends what material you use. If you want a paper that's really good for using pencils on, say, I'm going to come to pencils in a bit, but if you want something that is better with pencil, smooth is not great for pencil. It's not great because there's not enough tooth. The tooth picks up a softer material, pastels and pencils, that kind of stuff. But for me, I'm mostly using inks and paints, so this is perfect for me. Next up, what we got? Well, this one, I've talked a lot about this one in the past. This is the Blueprint for Destruction book. This is the brand new one, so it's a completely virgin one. I've not done anything in this one yet. I'm still filling up my old one. So this has got all the templates in. The beauty of this is it's got lots and lots of different templates. This is London Underground. It's got a big old double billboard, massive that is. Huge box freight there. Euro tram, box span. You've got the side and the back. I'm a particular fan of the back. I like that space. New York subway train. The spray cans, they're a really good challenge to do something decent on them. See my video on doing these. I've done videos on most of these. This is the Eurostar. Another large freight, London Underground. Then it's got smaller ones, so you could plan like these are essentially for like big blockbuster pieces, because obviously you can't get too much detail on there. I'm a character man myself, as anybody who watches this channel knows. You can't really sort of plot character and letters and everything. I mean, you could, but it's very tiny, very small working space. So really you want to do big old top to bottom letters there. We've got cargo freight, another box van, another Euro tram, New York subway. So it doubles up on the on them as well. So you can have another crack at each one. More London Undergrounds on the smaller scale. Some freights on the smaller scale. New York subway, and yeah, that's what you're looking at. These are the other two they do. They do a photo book as well, quick book. QuickBook is a smaller one. It's about A5 size, that one. I've got one of them and all. A brand new one. I just got sent the brand new ones recently. I was talking about this recently. I've managed to get a couple of pieces on the back myself. Some very, very nice pieces there. I think that's a Dibs piece there. There's one by Score 79. Yeah, these are really beautiful books. I can't recommend them enough. It's got a really gorgeous quality of paper. Holds ink really well. Smooth as well, like the Daleroni I just showed you. So these are really, really lovely books. Cannot recommend them enough. Also, they're on Instagram. So, oh yeah, I should probably do the website, shouldn't I? So it's www.b4d.co.uk, I think it is. And they're on Instagram under B4D Book. And they do encourage you to tag it when you do something. Tag them in. They'll put your piece up. So, you know, there's some extra dollops of fame for you as well. So that's Black Book stuff covered. That's pretty much what I use for Black Book now. The Daleroni and the Blueprint for Destruction. That's pretty much what I use. What pens do I use? Okay, so very important. And it's taken me a long time to work this out. Trust me. God damn. I used some stuff which was not very good for... Oh, you just try lots of different stuff, don't you? Lots of different stuff. It takes you a while to work this stuff out. So first of all, I use mechanical pencil. I don't use wooden pencils anymore. They do not suit me very well. You know, I don't want to be sharpening pencils all the time. So I use a mechanical pencil. This is a, what is it, a point? I think it's a 0.5, this one. Rotring 0.5. And yeah, you know, speaks for itself, doesn't it? You know, you load a lead up, you punch it a bit and off you go. Mechanical pencil. By the way, a lot of really heavy duty artists use what they call lead holders, which hold big, thick leads, and they are superb. They're really, really good. But I've never really got to grips with them, and I don't know why. It's horses for courses, as the previous generation used to say. Whatever suits you better, really. I've talked about this before, since we're talking about pencils. Let's just lie that one there so you can see it now. Erasers. You're going to need two different types. You're going to need one of these and one of these. And the reason you need two is this is for a bit of precision engineering. This is when you want to go in and sort of, I just want to get rid of that little line there, move that, shift that to the side. You want something that can do precision work. That's the first thing. Now, after you've done your inking and all your inks down and everything, you want to get rid of your pencil lines, so you're going to need that. You don't want to be using that because that is going to get blitzed through. It's going to get absolutely rinsed. So you don't want to be using that. You want to be using this big, fat, soft eraser. Now, some people prefer the putty erasers and stuff. I've tried them. I didn't really get on with them. I prefer the really soft rubber ones. It does create, I mean, you can probably see, can you see all this? I've got shavings everywhere around here. They build up. It's just rubber, you know. Every so often I do a massive blitz clean of the whole place. But I've got a lot of commission work on at the moment, so I've got no time to do it. I'm just trying to do lots of art. So so they build up. But anyway, who cares, right? You want really good materials. Really soft rubber like that for blitzing big areas. And a nice little precision eraser like that. There you go. Okay, what next? This one, the Pigmographic 1. There you go. Now, Pigmographic doing different sizes, but the the one I found is very useful. The reason it's very useful as well is because this tip, when you first start to use it, is quite fine actually, but it doesn't hold. It doesn't hold, doesn't stay very firm for very long, and it starts to become much softer, so you can do thicker lines with it, and your outlines can be really beautifully chunky without being messy with this pen. Also, the ink in it is archival. That means it will not fade over time. So this is what you want. Anything else to say about that? Size 1 is just, that's the size I recommend. Size 1, if you're looking for outlining stuff. It's just a really good thick line pen, and you're going to need a thick line pen. The reason I colour it purple on the end, by the way, purple has got nothing to do with anything. I just put some paint on the end because I've got so many of these pens, loads and loads and loads of them. I need to know which one is a new one and which one is an old one, because the old one starts to go on the way out. So the new one gets a different colour on it. Doesn't matter what it is, just a different colour, so I know which one is new and which one is old. That's all. Next up, this is what I use for my fine lining. I've never known how to pronounce this. Staedtler? Let's call it Staedtler. And if you're somebody who speaks this language, you can probably put me right. But anyway, Staedtler. Now, I used to use 0.1s and 0.2s back in the day, and I find that they're hopeless for me now because the lines are too fine. And what you really need, well, what I really need, I'm not going to be prescriptive for you, but what I really need is a 0.4. And sometimes, so I'll show you what I've got. I've got 0.5 as well, obviously. That's for when I need it slightly fatter. And when I need it a bit slimmer, I've got 0.3. But I don't go below a 0.3 now because that's just too fine. It's just, you know, them lines are just going to be useless to me. Going to be absolutely no good to me whatsoever. So a 0.3 for really fine, 0.4, which is my standard, and my 0.5 when I need it a tiny bit thicker, but not as thick as that Pigma. So I'm going to put them over there, and I'm going to leave that one just there so you can see it. Next up, colours, style file markers. This is mostly what I use. Beautiful double-ended marker, big fat end that end, and a slimmer end that end. And these these markers, I find them really fantastic. They're a sort of above middling marker. They're better than a low end marker, and not as good as a Copic. But Copics are very expensive, and they do the same job. And once you get skilled with these, I promise you, you'll be able to do work that looks as good as a Copic. Some people may disagree with that. I think they're wrong. These are really, really good. The only problem with these is that they don't have as big a range as a Copic, but the fact is the range is big enough for me. I can't remember what the range is. It's like 70, 80, something like that. Is it more than that? Probably, maybe more than that. Anyway, the fact is it's not as big as the Copic range is enormous, but this range is big enough for me. It works really, really well for me, and I don't have anything to do with Starfire. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. B4D, I do have an arrangement with them. I love their books, absolutely love them, and I get sent these books, and I won't shill for them. You know, I wouldn't just shill for them. These books are superb. They're amazing. But the pens, you know, I don't have any tie-in deals with any of these brands. This is the stuff I've worked out over years, what works best for me. Because I'll show you something actually. These are pretty good. Now you may know these already. I use these as well. These can be really good, but they're not as good as style files. They're, in my experience. I know a lot of pros use these, you know. A lot of pro artists do use these, and they're great for blending, and they have got a really good colour range and all that. I just don't like them as much as style files. They run out much quicker as well, in my experience. They tend to dry up a lot quicker. What else have we got? These are amazing. Poscas, paint markers. I'll use these happily in there as well. This is the smallest. This is the PCR. Sorry, the PC1MR. These are the thin outliners. You want a thin outliner, and you want something for bottom. You know, I'll put that in there so you can see it. You want something in there for body as well, and this is what I use for body. Molotovs, which have been rebranded, One for All. They were the Molotov 127HS. Oh, they still are. There you go. They just rebranded One for All. There you go. That's what it is. These Molotovs. They're really, really gorgeous. Their valve is super beautiful. Their nibs break down a bit, but they you can replace the nibs. They do replacement nibs. Posca nibs are, I don't know what they make them out of, but they're tough as old boots. They stand the test of time. And they tend not to bust. These ones get a bit soggy, but the fact is the valve in it is so good. It's just brilliant quality. You'll get every drop out of that, and the paint mix is superb as well. The colours fantastic. You'll love it. Now I'll put that in there. I recommend that you get a cheap set of markers as well, and you can start with these if you're not ready to start lashing out, because all this stuff costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of dough, these things. So if you're not ready for that yet, grab yourself some of these. These are, now you probably recognise what a Sharpie is. These are pretend Sharpies. These are like, I don't even know what the brand is, actually. Not quite sure the brand is. It says Shuttle Art there. I can't remember if that's the brand name or whatever. But anyway, they're essentially what we would call a snide Sharpie. You know, they're a rip-off of a Sharpie. Pretty much the same. Get yourself a full set. I've got a full set here. Look, that's the thing of beauty, isn't it? Now, them colours are a bit deceptive because this is why you do colour swatches, because you can't guarantee the colour's going to come up the way it is on the cap. You cannot guarantee that, so you have to really swatch it, make sure you know what you're going to get. But the reason it's good to have these around is just because they make good fill-in colours. Sometimes a colour that you haven't got on your big colours or whatever, and also you can muck about with these. You know, you're not too precious about these. You're not too worried about them getting a bit bashed about or anything like that. So so you don't mind them getting all filthy and horrible and dirty and whatever. Now I was going to show you something else, and here they are. I also use these, which is the Arctics. And these are paint markers with a brush tip, so they're really kind of they're slightly delicate. Look at that. So these are really sort of fine. This is for your fine work. If I wanted to do something with a particular effect that needed more of a brush look on it, something like that, I would use these ones. Again, these are very good on canvas, as are these. These not so much. You can use them on canvas, but the paint is not thick enough for that. The paint is better applied to paper, much better for paper. Good colour range, really good colour range. Often the colour corresponds quite nicely with what's on the cap as well. That's always useful. Just to remind you what these are the Arctics ones, and these are very nice as well. Really nice, and they come in all shapes and sizes. They've even got the great big fat ones, and they're all nicely acrylics and all that. So the only other thing to tell you really is the Poscas as well. I use Poscas in different sizes. Molotovs come in different sizes. I use big ones of them sometimes, but really, other than that, that's pretty much. Oh no, do you know what I'm forgetting? These, the pencils. These are Caran d'Ache. Now, I found that 12 was enough for me. I didn't really need any more of that. To give you an idea, you can see which ones I use the most. Black, purple, this orange, and the white one. Then everything else is sort of not used very much. Yeah, super colour soft. Now, what you want with a pencil, a high quality pencil is nice and soft. So you can get, you can see a bit there, you know, you get a really lovely effect. And the effect that you're looking for, particularly with smudging and stuff, is anybody who's doing graph or graph in a black book or anything like that, you're looking for a lovely, almost like an overspray look. It looks really great when you can achieve it. You do really lovely blending with them and all that kind of stuff. So definitely recommend these. You can get them in really massive tins, huge, great thing. These are expensive. I think that's about 35 quid for 12 or something. Obviously, they last you quite a long time. But I know that is expensive. I know that's pricey. But the fact is, you need a good pencil. I mean, honestly, do not bother with cheap pencils. Just don't bother with them. Again, I know some people might argue me that. Cheap pencils. I used cheap pencils for years. They were garbage. They were rubbish. I tried for years to try and get a decent effect with a cheap pencil. I could not do it. I got these straight away, no problem, because they're soft. They're the consistency you need. These are not even the softest ones Caran d'Ache do. People ask me about the kind of pencil I use all the time. Caran d'Ache, Swiss. Prisma used to be the go-to pencil. Some of my American pals have told me since that they're not what they used to be. I don't know anything about that really. I think I used Prisma years ago, but can't really remember. But these are the ones that, so far, these are the best ones I've found. These Caran d'Ache ones. So give them a whiz, see what you think. And you can buy them singly as well, so you don't need to just sort of dive in. Use a colour that buy a colour that you use all the time. Like, for instance, a white for highlighting. Or I use purple all the time in pinks and purples and all yellows, whatever. I put purple in everything to do like low lighting and stuff. So just buy one of them. Buy one. The beauty of a pencil is, depending on how hard you push down, you get a different shade. So actually you're getting lots of different shades for the price of one pencil. Buy yourself one pencil, see how it suits you, before you start lashing out loads of money on art gear. So anyway, there you go. Now this video was requested, so I've dived in and done it again. But that's what I use. I mean, I also use, just to if you've got like block black you need to be doing, can't go wrong with an Edding 300. Tried and tested, been used by graphiters for forever. Edding, as most of you probably know. And is there anything else? Not really, actually. That's pretty much, that's the arsenal. That's my arsenal. That's what I've got. That's what I use. Oh, do you know what? I have forgotten one. I've forgotten one thing you definitely need to know about, and that is the Stabilo .88, and that's these ones. Fine liners. These will really, really change your game when it comes to Black Book. As you can see, these colours correspond nicely with many different colours from the different pens I've got in array here, and they just offer a nice little tiny fine line. So you can do fine little bits of work as well. And again, they are absolutely indispensable. I looked for pens like that for a long time. The downside of these, so that's a 0.4 you get, by the way, on the pointer there. You can probably see it. The downside of these is they're not very robust. You're gonna break them. You're gonna break them, trust me. I try not to push down too hard when I'm doing stuff, but it doesn't really make any difference. You're going to probably knack them pens at some point because they're not very tough, but that's fine. You're going to go through them. Just expect that, basically. Expect that. These will probably last you a very long time. These. In fact, pretty much everything else there is pretty robust. But the Stabilos, to my knowledge, and I've tried other ones. I tried, what do you call them? Can't remember now. What are they called? Microns. Tried Micron. Oh, in fact, I've got a Micron here. So I've got a red Micron there. These are okay. These are not very robust either. In fact, in my world, these are less robust than .88. So same kind of thing. Although that I reckon is about a 0.6 would be my guess. That would be my guess anyway. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, don't use them very often. So there you go. There you go. That's all the weapons in the arsenal. And if you've got any questions about that, then you can always comment. But yeah, again, recently I've had a lot of people asking for this video, so I just thought I'd make one again to show you. And I hope that's been informative. and that you're going to rush out and buy all that stuff now and start creating some beautiful stuff in a black book. And I'll see you guys very soon. I will be back and making more videos soon, as soon as I've got some of this commission work done, and the order book is a bit clearer. And yeah. Until then, have a blast.